We are never going to be able to restart the broadcast you just stopped. It's a one-way ticket. You're trapped in Bermuda. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing else is going to happen. Oh, I love Google, and knowing them, it's probably like a very deliberate thing. Like they're like, nah, no one's gonna restart something when they hit stop. It's they want to stop. Like nothing's gonna happen. Nope. Okay. Could be worse. Hear the tea kettle boiling up in my head, right? Yeah. But no, Vertigo's done really well because they kind of like Dark Horse losing the Star Wars comic license last year. Vertigo hasn't lost a license per se, but it's it being a creator-owned content license. When somebody wants to end something, it's not according to the whims of the studio. It's like whenever the creator wants to end something, it's the creator's will. So what that's leading up to is Fables has a it's so good, comic book series called Fables. You guys may have heard of it. Had a very popular Telltale game series called The Wolf Among Us, which is a prequel to the comic book series. Anyway, after I believe 20 years, Fables came to an end a couple months ago, and that was Vertigo's biggest moneymaker after Hellblazer got sent back to DC. They basically had this weird catch-22 that said if your characters have ever interacted with, on the Vertigo side, if your characters have ever interacted with mainstream DC characters, then they are actually partially owned by DC, I believe. So Hellblazer happenstantially wound up back at DC. So Fables was their biggest moneymaker after that. Don't you love contracts? Yeah. There was a huge tizzy about that when they relaunched as Constantine with the New 52. By all accounts, was not a good comic book series. So they relaunched Constantine as Constantine the Hellblazer a couple months ago, and it's been fantastic since then. Going back to kind of the Hellblazing roots, both the title and how the feel, it's John Constantine screwing up and accidentally killing all of his friends twice because he kills them and they becomes Ghost, and then he accidentally kills them again. Because he's just not a guy you really want to be pals with, let me tell you. But Vertigo has given the good college try to bringing in more creators to kind of fill these voids that Fables and Hellblazer has left out. Some of them are weird. Some of them are weird in a very bad way. Art Ops was one of those. And it was billed kind of by the guy who sold it to me. It was billed as kind of like art history, murder mystery, right? And it's written by Sean Simon and Gerard Way. I wonder if it's the Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. The cover is interestingly weird because it's Mona Lisa looking out of her frame, and where Mona Lisa is this weird psychedelic spiral. So who knows? Of the True Lies of the Famous Killjoys, Michael Allred, who did iZombie, which I'm perfectly fine with. I love that series. It says art not only imitates life, it becomes it. When rogue figures from famous works of art come to life and escape their frames, it's up to Reggie Riot, now that's a name, and the agents of the art operatives to track them down before they wreak havoc on the unsuspecting public. But Reggie has secrets of his own that may affect his ability to interact with these living works of art, and he wants no part in the agency his mother ran before him. Pop culture will never be the same. It started out as a good thing. It's it's like a TV pilot where you watch it and like halfway through shit starts to fall apart, but it was pretty good beforehand. And like he gets his arm ripped off by like wild graffiti, and they paint an arm back on him, and it's like a Jackson Pollock painting with like and he took up boxing. It's like a Jackson Pollock painting with a boxing glove on it. It's the most random thing, and it's weird enough and interesting enough. Like I'll give it through issue 2, but just it seems like such a weird concept. The idea of somebody hunting down paintings that are or figures from paintings that are escaping is kind of intriguing though. Like they rescued Mona Lisa, then they painted somebody up to be a stand-in for Mona Lisa while a copywriter or a counterfeiter was trying to steal her. But it's really weird. It's a really weird book. It's very interesting. And then on the other side, Vertigo has another one called Survivors Club, which is basically the the classic 80s horror movie victims like kind of making a support group together. It says one was possessed by a poltergeist, another was trapped in a haunted house, a third had a killer doll. Ever wonder what happened to all these children from the 1980s? Find out in Survivors Club, a new series written by renowned horror novelist Lauren Bukes. Now there's one for you. And award-winning cover illustrator and designer Dave Harvelson, and art by Ron Kelly, who also did Northlanders. Having found each other over the internet, 6 grown-up survivors are drawn together by the horrors they experienced in 1987 when the rash of occult events happened around the world with fatal results. Now there are indications that it may be happening all over again. Is it possible that these 6 aren't just survivors, but they were chosen by their fates? Now, I love horror stuff, and that this is right up my alley right here. Absolutely love my 80s horror.
Oh yeah, it's fun stuff. It's been a good weekend.
It has been a good weekend, and comic books have become an interesting medium for that lately. Of course, you have Lauren Bukes writing this. You have I saw another one that was written by I have it in the living room, but of course that is not where I am right now. There is another one that was written by a combination of, and I'm sorry I don't have my stuff together. It was written by, it's called Coming of Rage, and it is written by Wes Craven and Steve Niles.
Huh.
Imagine that combination. Now, the only thing that can make it better would be if John Carpenter was in there somewhere, but only 80s John Carpenter. It's basically a zombie, a vampire, and a werewolf find each other in a bar and try to escape monster hunters. And it is fantastic. Issue 1 came out, I believe, last week. It's in stores now in any regards, and it is absolutely fantastic. Coming right off the Halloween train. It's great. It's Wes Craven's potentially the last thing Wes Craven wrote before he died. So there's that for you. It's I think it's a 3 or 4 issue miniseries. So get it. It's good. It's damn good. It's if you're more of a zombie fan, George Romero's Army of the Dead comics. I think they're in volume 2 now. That just started. They have the trade paperback of the first one. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. It's not the fortunately, it's not the George Romero that did Survival of the Dead or God, what is that other one? Diary of the Dead. It's not the awful ones. And thank God for that.
Right. He seems to be kind of hit or miss sometimes.
He does. He really does. It's you can see when the inspiration strikes, and you can see when he is just phoning it in. Pardon me, it's Empire of the Dead. It's been a day since I've looked at it. It is obviously from the name. It is a sequel. It is in the Dead universe. Of course, you'd expect nothing else from George Romero. It was originally a 15-issue miniseries, or it is a 15-issue miniseries split between 3 5-issue acts. The Act 3 just started, actually. Act 3, 1 through 5, just started last month. Apparently, they have just booked it for a TV show, for a TV series, too. Now, I don't know how that's going to be with Walking Dead on the air, since they kind of rule those, since they kind of rule that demographic. But I kind of hope it goes in. I wish it would merge. It would cross over somewhere. That would be great. Be fan-freaking-tastic.
Well, I was gonna. See, this is the thing. I don't get to watch stuff, but I had a favorite on Walking Dead, and I was told that last week was not a great week because apparently my favorite got it. Beep. So, right? I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to be spoilerish. So if you watch the show, you know exactly who I'm talking about. If you don't watch the show, you have no idea. But that was like the one thing where I was like, okay, I'll watch it eventually because of this guy.
I had a friend. Yeah, and don't spoil it online, guys. It's one of those things I hate when that happens. I remember when Game of Thrones. When certain events happen at the most recent finale of Game of Thrones, there's a friend of mine who actually gave up on Game of Thrones because someone spoiled it for him. He's like, I'm done. I don't have a reason to care. You spoiled it for me. I'm done. and for one, that's how easy it was to break his love of the show. But for another thing, spoilers are a real thing, guys. Don't spoil it. We are spoiler alert. We are planning to watch The Martian over the next week and have a spoiler cast that talks about the movie at length and talks about certain scenes in the movie, certain scenes, certain story arcs, kind of talking about it at length and hopefully bringing in maybe a couple of experts. I did reach out to a couple of nice dudes from the Marshall Space and Flight Center in Huntsville, and hopefully they'll join in. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to schedule. It's hard to schedule things around NASA.
Yeah.
But I really hope they'll be able to make it.
I hope that that works out. I may not be able to make that one because trying to get out to the movie theater is probably not going to be something I can do at the moment.
You can always bootleg it. Oh. I mean, don't pirate, kids. It's bad and illegal. No. We would.
Well, I still have to devote some time to watch it. That sounds really bad, but really, at this point, I have no time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm doing this cast right now, and I'm grading at the same time.
At the same time.
And I mean, there's just I'm not supposed to have a life this semester. That's what it's boiled down to. Is
yeah. I know exactly how you feel, actually. It's like by the time, and especially because it's been raining. I think Alabama has kind of had the remnants of what was that, Hurricane Patricia?
Yes.
I think Alabama has had has been dealing with the remnants from that for the past week because it's been raining like nonstop. Like Birmingham really, really, really wants to be Seattle during the winter, and and because it's bad traffic anyway, but people forget how to drive in the rain. I love this. It's people will start driving at 50 miles an hour in the rain and then suddenly hit on their brakes and expect no one to pile up on them, which is a totally realistic expectation during Sunstop. So it's been a nightmare, and it was a real nightmare on Monday, and then people kind of figured out that you shouldn't do that, and my past for just driving 6 hours for the past 5 days has taken me up to and including an hour to get home. So by the time I get back, I'm just freaking exhausted anyway, and I just kind of want to pile up and go to sleep because by then it's like 6 o'clock or past, and I'm just like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, don't do anything. So beyond that, and then work, and then schoolwork, and then oh yeah, I don't have any more time. It sucks being a grown up, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, oh yeah, don't grow up. It's a crap.
Don't grow up at all ever. But if you do grow up and you do find yourself having time to do things, and you do want to see what we do to pass time, we are as well as doing Radio Free Geek. We are doing a couple of other spinoffs that are as yet untitled, but basically Radio Free Geek Books and Radio Free Geek Gaming and Writing. Basically, the first one is, if you're familiar with things like Vaginal Fantasy and Sword and Laser, it's basically the same kind of podcast. Every week we discuss books, what's new trending in books, comic books, that kind of thing. I'm a fan, as you guys have probably noticed me talking about. So we've got a few good hosts that are coming in that the mainstream hosts can feel more than free to drop into when they have time. But Marcus is totally having tech problems. Hold on, I got derailed. Marcus actually got a brand new podcast set up, and he was going to test it today and get some mileage, but hopefully he'll be able to function here in a minute. But we'll bring it in. We'll talk about what's new happening in books, fantasy, comic books, science fiction, comic books. Did I mention comic books? New, old, Marvel, DC, Image, IDW, Boom, Kaboom, Boombox, anybody? Vertigo, just anything that's worth talking about. We're going to dedicate an hour a week or every other week to talk about that. We're still working those details out. And then the gaming side of it, Radio Free Geek Gaming, which again is still untitled, is basically I'm trying to get some writers, developers, anybody who's used to gaming. Got a few people on Reddit who are interested. We're going to do a test Twitch sometime this week. But basically talking about playing through a game and talking about what we pardon me, basically talking about what makes or breaks it, what kind of reverse engineering the game as we discover it. The first game we're going to play is the massively anticipated Fallout 4. According to Best Buy, even though it doesn't come out until the 10th, I'm supposed to get it on Wednesday. So hopefully we'll be able to get that early and collect that sweet pre-release review watching. So if you don't have time to play a game, watch us play it for you, and then tell you how it could be better. because I'm so tired of watching Twitch streams where they're just bitching about the game, and I'm just like, let's talk about how to make it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, we did talk about that a little bit last week. The main cast could pop in and out on that. We're also trying to get some new hosts. Like I said, we're doing a casting call on Reddit, which is either the best or the worst decision of my life. Because for every legitimately interested person, there's like 15 trolls I have to weed through.
Oh, trolls!
Gotta love them. Pay them $1. They don't go away. Trolly-oly-ole. Speaking of trolls, my God, the like we were talking about last week, the rumor mill surrounding episode 7 is reaching critical mass. There are people who have apparently decided, they may have always been here, but apparently there's a group of people who have up and decided. We talked about the whole boycott Star Wars because John Boyega is in it. But apparently there's a bunch of guys who really want, I say guys, it's people, equal opportunity, who want to boycott episode 7 because of the expanded universe. It's like, no, the expanded universe isn't going to be there, we're going to boycott it, which is the dumbest thing.
Oh, okay, so they're like, no Mara.
Mara Jade is not in it, we're not going to watch it. Basically, yeah.
Well, didn't we have that? Didn't we mention that? I mean, in order for them to really grow the series, that there was really no way to avoid getting rid of the EU. Like, didn't we have that conversation about why that was a valid reason?
Everybody's had that conversation. They're like, well, they could have adapted the books. Well, yes, but they would have had to recast the critical cast. Let's say you do a trilogy for let's say you do a trilogy of the Thrawn trilogy. I think that's the trilogy. Like, anybody who's diehard, not diehard, even casual fans know about Timothy Zahn's Thrawn trilogy.
Right.
Nothing else. Let's say you did a series of that. Well, that series takes place 5 years at most after Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
So that would require almost an immediate recasting of everybody, of all the core cast. And then you have to explain it and bill it and publicize it, and be like, well, instead of Mark Hamill, we've got, I don't know, Chris Pratt. total resemblance. Total resemblance. He ran so fast from the T-Rexes in Jurassic World. Now he's in the Star Wars universe. But you have to explain that. You have to explain why you're doing it, and for all the people who are pissed that the expanded universe is going away, there's going to be an equally large group of people who would be pissed that if Episode 7 was Heir to the Empire, that Mark Hamill would not be in the movie. It's I think at this point it's like impossible to please everybody, and then you have the people. Then you have the people who are like, well, self-respecting fans would never watch anything that's not the expanded universe. Well, get over yourself. It's interesting because Star Wars fans are acting like they're getting jerked around, and I think Marvel, I think comic book fans, rightfully so, can legitimately argue that they've been jerked around as fans through movies. Hell, look at Joel Schumacher, my God. But I don't ever remember. I'm sure they're out there, but I don't remember anybody ever being like, well, self-respecting fans would never watch Iron Man.
Right?
Yeah. Tony Stark was far more of an alcoholic. We should boycott the film. Robert Downey Jr. is a terrible actor. What are they doing? What are they thinking about Tony? And there are the people complaining that, like, Black Widow didn't get with Captain America like they did in the comics and stuff like that. But nobody by any means is on the Marvel camp is sitting there going like, we're not going to watch it. we're done. We're never going to do it again. But that seems to be the response out of a lot of people on Reddit and Facebook over Star Wars right now. It's tragic.
It is really tragic. I think there's just, I don't know. I think I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like they're looking for a reason not to like the movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people have started. We're judging episode 7. We're prejudging episode 7 on what, a combined 3 minutes at most of footage. And people have already started calling J.J. Abrams Jar Jar Abrams by saying that, oh, there's too much lens flare, blah 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 blah. And it's like you were predicting this movie. You know, it's equal chance. People were predicting it's gonna be the best Star Wars ever made. People were predicting it's gonna be the worst Star Wars ever made, just like we talked about last week, based on a minuscule amount of footage.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Marius, you got a new microphone.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I think I finally got it now.
What did you? I know you sent me a link. What did you get? Was it a Yeti like me or?
No, it is podcasting studio USB.
Oh, does it have the little soundboard thingy?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are legit cardioid mics. They require a preamp to go in. And mine is a USB mic, but I hear Yetis have a built-in preamp into the thing, which is why the body is so damn big. So I may have the same setup, just in like a smaller package. Who knows?
I mean, it's not very big, but it's just I didn't connect one wire, and then another wire was off, and I was like, oh man.
Oh, that's the best. It's not the size; it's how you use it.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
It's like Michael Caine in Goldmember. Yeah, it's you can get amazing sound out of a small package. Yeti, honestly, I bought a Yeti because it was just cool looking. I really like retro stuff. You guys have not seen my apartment yet, and you probably will not. So I get told a bigger one because there's too much stuff for the space. But I have a big thing for collecting vintage cameras and all kinds of things, and I really like retro-y looking things, and something about blue in general, but something about the blue Yeti especially is just so damn retro. And I'm like, I want to get that one. I don't care. I know, and the reviews are high, but I'm like, I really want to get this just because it looks like I stole Larry King's microphone. That is almost the exact reason I bought this thing.
Hey, blue's a good color, that's my
Blue is a fantastic company. They have been doing professional audio stuff for years and years and years. There's also, I think it's not a Samsung mic, but it looks like a tiny Elvis microphone that I really want to get for doing. I'm going to PAX South in San Antonio in January, and I found a really cheap voice recorder. It's like $80, and it includes like 16 gigs of storage, plus you can swap it out anyway. But there's a teeny tiny podcast mic you can get, and it's like 2 inches tall, and I'm desperately searching for what its name is because I can't remember. Because I have it saved in my card in Amazon, so I don't remember it. We're eventually getting to the point where we're just subconsciously storing our memory on the internet. We have this perfect memory. The Samson Meteor. It's $50. It looks like a tiny chrome Elvis mic. It's adorable, and it's Wirecutter's best pick for podcast mics besides the Yeti, which is fantastic. But they're all about the same. It's it's like headphones. If the reviews are high, it doesn't really matter what it is or how much it costs. But I just love retro stuff. I got a problem.
Now you got a retro fetish, right?
Basically, yes. I mean, my computer desk right now is a clawfoot mahogany writing desk. So I may have a serious condition. It's a miracle I'm not writing out. It's a miracle I'm not doing NaNoWriMo on an Underwood typewriter. You know what I mean? That would be a nightmare, because even if because NaNoWriMo, you have to like submit your manuscript every day to keep your word count updated. And can you imagine the nightmare of like typing out a novel or handwriting it and then having to transcribe it digitally anyway? It's like you're writing the book twice in a month. And I'm already a day behind on the someone did the math, and they said to hit the 50,000 word writing quota, you have to do a minimum of like 16,667 words a day, and it's like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
What have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, I remember you saying something about that last week.
What if I just like write gibberish and submit it so I can like I bet people do that, you know, if they submit gibberish just to hit the word count and then like finish writing it afterwards. I wonder how common that is.
I don't know. I've heard tell me that.
Because all you win is like the right to purchase a T-shirt saying you did it. So it's not like you're winning like a grant, like a money prize or anything. So I wonder how prevalent that is. But then you hear about amazing stuff like The Night Magician and other books that at least had their start, if not had their entire genesis through NaNoWriMo too. So I guess it's both ends of the spectrum.
Oh, hey, you never know. Maybe you'll get an A.
Yeah, you know, maybe it'll be the next New York Times, and I'll be like, I owe it all to the jackasses who told me to write 10,000 words a day. Because I also like I went out this year. Like I signed up for it, and I signed up for it last year, and I didn't do anything. Like I didn't write it out, I didn't do anything. I just participated in the forums maybe once or twice in introduced, but I didn't do jack shit. And this year I did the whole thing. Like I signed up for a local group and I gave them their contact information. And like I'm going at this more seriously than weight loss right now. Like I'm like we're going to push each other to write this thing. I got some writing buddies on NaNoWriMo. We've exchanged information there, and it's like come hell or high water, I'm writing this goddamn book this year. Maybe trash, but at least I get it out of my system.
I've got several friends who are doing that, and they always put up their word counts, and I'm always incredibly envious.
Mm-hmm.
I've
like
tried.
I'm sure there's somebody who's already on like 40,000.
Oh yeah, at this point, I probably have some friends. I can't write fast enough for my brain.
Yeah.
I've thought about on several occasions dictating.
Mm-hmm.
So like speaking into a recorder and then seeing if that gets me anywhere.
Which some of those have been good. I mean, you can now dictate. Like I'll do notes. If I just think about something, I'll dictate to like Evernote on my phone or my iPad, and then I can just pick up where I left off, like on the computer. But I can't imagine dictating like the whole book. This is coming from the guy who also tried to dictate HTML code one time. So I guess it just takes practice, I guess, because I'm used to talking out loud, but I'm not used to talking out loud with the intention of getting it written down, I guess. So I guess it just takes practice.
I hate writing. I don't know what. It's just something about it that just I don't know. It gets or something.
Yeah, well, it's like I haven't written. I remember I wanted to be a poet when I was in high school, which, by the way, is not an actual career path. Because I wrote like 1 or 2 poems and got them like published in a literary magazine. My mother still has them somewhere because my mom never gets rid of anything. But I remember friends of mine wanted me to like sign their magazines and stuff, and I thought I was like hot shit. And then, like, I started doing college, and I realized writing is not what I wanted to do. So, like, I changed over to art school, and the rest of that is history, right? But it's interesting going to Dragon Cons and all these things and talking to all these creative people. It's just eventually you start cooking up story ideas, and I think I've done basically every creative medium there is. Like I've done like, and going through art school, you go through these practices. Like getting a fine art degree. You do painting, you do sculpting, you do all that kind of stuff. But like professionally, I've done mixed media, I've done digital media, I've done web design, obviously, photography, copywriting, basically every medium there is and they all started as a hobby. So like my only hobbies right now are like cigar box guitar making, which I don't have time to do at all right now until the semester's over, which is going to be shit after the holidays. It's like I missed the golden opportunity to sell them. But anyway, it's either like make guitars or write, because those are like the 2 things I enjoy doing that I haven't like done for money. So, like, I don't know. I think it's like, I think what I'm trying to say is that I'm just, like, bored with my life, so I'm deciding to write a book. No, no, that would be a horrible reason. No, it's just, especially after Dragon Con, writing, talking to Timothy Zahn, Michael Connolly for, like, 2 days straight about how to write books just kind of gets your brain percolating on what you would do if you had a story, and then suddenly you do have a story, and Now it's like, well, I'll do NaNoWriMo, but the more I think about outlining for NaNoWriMo, the more I'm like, this would be really cool as a comic book. So I have attention deficit disorder when it comes to storytelling, apparently.
Well, just like me, I've been trying to write a story for a video game for like the last 3 years now, and I've only have maybe 5 pages down, and 1 page.
It's more story than Destiny.
Yeah. I mean, I have the story in my head, but I just have trouble putting it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And sometimes it's just the format of writing. Like I can write long form or short form prose and academic papers all day long, but if you wanted me to write like a proper script, even using software like Scrivener or something else that's got a template that lets you do that, I don't think I'd be very good at explaining it in that kind of way. It's kind of like writing in when you go to school, when you take English, I don't know if they still teach this, but they teach you how to write in the MLA format, right?
Right.
And then you have that one teacher that wants you to write in like the Chicago format or something, and it doesn't feel right. It's like screenwriting to me or script writing doesn't feel right. It's like it's just the format, and maybe it's if I had to write a comic script, I probably couldn't do it. But I could probably find somebody on Elance or Freelancer that could do it for me. It's like, hey, I'm going to send you a script. Can you transcribe this into? I'm going to send you the story. Can you transcribe this into a script for me? Which I think is kind of the magic of the internet. You need to do something or you want to do something, but you don't feel comfortable doing it. But now you can pay somebody, somebody whose job it is to go around and do this, and then suddenly you have this amazing thing that someone helped you make, and I think that's cool.
Ugh.
I think that's the opinion I'd say. I'm not sure. It's aspiration, maybe?
Oh man. So I went to Target today and got a clearanced Leia costume.
Uh-huh.
Cause I've always wanted
one with the buns.
Yes, I've always wanted one, and I was like 50% off. Take my money now. So.
That's the greatest way to do it.
So I'm like, ha, I got one super cheap.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
I went to Target and there wasn't a damn thing there. I went there an hour after they opened. Like I was there at 8:45, 9ish, and they had already like freaking Norsemen pillaging a village. It was gone.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I will say that. I mean, I was not expecting. It's Sunday, and so I was going there. I was like, okay, I'll grab some coffee at the Starbucks there. And I was like, oh, hey, I might as well check the clearance. It was just crazy. And I'm like, okay, apparently this is a thing.
Apparently this is a thing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, it was like after, because I went to Walmart right after that, and it was like after Christmas sale, there were people just carts full of candy. Oh my God, so much candy and so many carts. Carts full of candy, carts full of just every single thing. Oh, it was nuts. And then yesterday, of course, there was stuff everywhere. There was of course everything was happening. There was Halloween comic book day. There were parties everywhere. It's just oh my God. Did you guys dress as anything for Halloween?
No, I didn't.
College student.
Yeah, I really dropped the ball on Halloween this year because I didn't make a costume.
Yep.
But I marathoned Ghostbusters amongst all the horror movies yesterday, and what I really want to do for either DragonCon or Halloween or both next year is and I've got a year to do it, so whatever. But I want to make a screen accurate Ghostbuster costume. And I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time to do like a proton pack, but because that thing is just a bitch to make from what I understand. But but maybe if I can find kits, I don't know. There's I haven't explored the forums that much, but apparently to get the gist of the costume, you can basically spend like 45 minutes in a military surplus store. Because all you need is a flight suit, boots. So you can get like a white gun belt and dye it gray with some Rit dye. Just there's all these how-tos online. It's fantastic. You can make your own ecto goggles using like they get these schematics. They use these old night vision goggles from the 80s, and just holy crap, there's so much stuff online. So many reference photos, so many like actual photos of the props. Just oh my gosh. Anyway, there's even like how-tos on how to slime yourself. Apparently, you can get like a water-based wiry lubricant, and you can just slather it on the flight suit, and it looks like you just got like slobbered on by Slimer or something. So many how-tos. And unlike Star Wars cosplay, it doesn't cost a month's pay or 2 or 3 to make. Oh my gosh, if I had to make a screen-accurate Mandalorian suit, that would just take like half a year's pay right there.
Oh, I bet it would.
Yeah, because if you want to do like the 501st, like they'll like apparently they will check it out to the buckle and the measurements on the suits too, and apparently they do that for everything. Mandalorians, Darth Vader, anybody you see in the 501st, no matter what it is, they check every single reference photo they can find. It is crazy. Couldn't imagine. Wow. Could not imagine.
Yeah, be exact on that.
Yeah. And then apparently they've released a couple of photos of the new brand new Ghostbuster suits, and it's even easier. It's basically the same khaki jumpsuit. It's not a flight suit, but it's basically got reflective tape and mud boots as well as the chemical gloves. But they haven't shown any. They've shown the Ecto 1. It's a legit hearse, or Ecto 2. I don't know if it's in the same universe or not. But they haven't showed the proton packs, which is kind of a drag. But I kind of want to go as a classic Ghostbuster. There's just something kind of cool about the old schlapped together 80s Ghostbuster suits.
Well, the new suits, I've seen a picture of them, and it seemed like the same thing.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, except not as it doesn't look as coupled together. I don't know. Maybe it's the opposite of how the Ghostbusters kept ending in 1 and 2. You know, maybe at this point they've kind of franchised them out to be in different departments. They look a little more like janitor uniforms. They all look a little more uniformy. They don't look like Vietnam era junk they found somewhere. It'd be interesting. It'd be really interesting to know, because I know there's kind of a weird debate about like where the hell these Ghostbusters fit in with like everyone else. I know like everybody is making a cameo in this one, so I'm assuming they're in the same universe. But it's as tight-lipped about it's as tight-lipped with Ghostbusters as it is with Star Wars. So unfortunately, like no one knows what the hell's going on. But I kind of like the idea of them being a franchise at this point. I know they're in a different city. They're not in New York, so I don't know. I'm a fan of it being like, you know, Ghostbusters unit, you know, number 3 or whatever.
I'm just hoping
Ghostbusters Incorporated.
Yeah. I know Bill Murray's supposed to make a cameo in it.
Yeah, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver. Who is the secretary woman in Ghostbusters?
Annie Potts.
Bernie Potts. Bernie Potts.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts.
I'm deaf. I'm sorry. Yeah, but she's making an appearance too. Everybody except Rick Moranis basically is appearing. The actor who played Egon unfortunately is dead, which I don't know how I feel about that. Because Harold Ramis was my favorite one. Egon was my favorite Ghostbuster. He's dead as a freaking doornail. So obviously he's not appearing. Or will he?
He'll be one of the ghosts they'll be chasing.
You know, it would be. You know, it's weird, but but given Ghostbusters, it would be interesting to see him as a ghost. Maybe he's the new library ghost.
Yeah, huh?
I'm okay with that, though.
Well, you never know. They might give Rick Moranis a small cameo. I mean, I think he's trying to get back into the movie scene, isn't he?
Yeah, because he took a crazy long leave to help raise his kids and everything, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
they haven't mentioned it. As far as I know, he hasn't mentioned anything about being in it. But I don't know if anyone's necessarily asked him either.
Right.
He's one of those. The last movie he made was doing a voice in Brother Bear 2 in 2006. So he's had a decent 9 years of not doing anything, voice acting, or otherwise. So it'd be kind of a cool way to get him back in the game, man. Get him geared up. Get him geared up. I wonder if the new Ghostbusters have the goo guns from Ghostbusters 2, or if that's just a thing in the past.
I'm sure it'd be a thing of the past. I mean, they gotta have something new. I mean, other than the proton packs. I mean,
yeah, or maybe new ones. I forgot how much how loose and weird Ghostbusters 2 was compared to the first one. Because compared to the first one, it felt like a really loose kind of script, but I'm okay with that. It was interesting. It was interesting. What I understand is Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis kind of like reluctantly wrote the screenplay to Ghostbusters 2 because the studio. I also didn't notice until I watched it again yesterday that the Ghostbusters uniforms actually had the ghost doing the 2 on it, which I think is kind of a cheeky reference to the fact it's a sequel, which I thought was kind of cool, kind of meta and cool. But yeah, from what I understand, the studio kind of was like, well, we need a sequel. We need to make this a franchise. And Dan Aykroyd was like, nah, well, the first one kind of wrapped itself up nicely. And then they were like, well, fine, we'll write this movie for you.
Yeah, I think Dan Aykroyd had had that fear of ruining it. He didn't want to. Because the first one was really good. I enjoyed it better than the second one.
Yeah, the first one was just fantastic. There's not really any kind of fault you could give it. It's fantastic. It's tightly woven. It's yeah. And
there is no fault. There is only Zool.
Yes, there's the freaking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
But you do get the amazing evil painting.
Yes. You do get the amazing evil painting. You get you gun. The thing I couldn't take seriously was the freaking like happy goo that they basically like. It's pure evil. We need everybody to sing. We're going to possess the Statue of Liberty. And the thing is, like, how do they like you see Lady Liberty at the end of Ghostbusters 2, but how did they get it back there? Did they walk her back there, or was that some schmuck's like cleanup job afterwards? Was to helicopter her back onto the base?
Oh man!
Because the last time you see them and Lady Liberty, she's just like laying on her side and on Manhattan Avenue or whatever.
Oh, it's good stuff though.
Oh, plot holes. Oh, it is good stuff though.
Well, and it was thanks to that I found out about that historic the subway station.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite. I mean, that's something I really want to go down and see. Yeah, because it's. I didn't realize it's still there. I always thought that they had gotten rid of it back in the 80s, and it's still there.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. There's probably New York is probably as bad as Moscow in terms of like abandoned subway tunnels that they just like closed off and didn't expect anybody to really see. It makes you wonder, somebody did that in Moscow. They mapped out and plotted like all of these abandoned subway tunnels, and they said you had to be careful because there were like black magicians and Satanists down there sacrificing people. And homeless people and all kinds of just randomness happening in the Moscow subways. That makes you wonder what's going on in the abandoned New York subways.
Yeah, just probably one of Russia's scare tactics.
Yeah, well, they had photos too, and it showed the guys wearing like the black hoods and everything. But I mean, if they're letting you take photos of it, it makes you wonder, right?
Yeah, because
either that or either it's prefab or they just really don't care. It's like, sure, you can photograph us while we're cutting up this corpse. What's the problem? There's a ghost story for you. It's probably on creepypasta at this point.
Yeah, who are you gonna call?
Ghost pasta, creepypasta. Speaking of weird, before you guys jumped on, I was trolling Reddit, and have you guys heard about the UN? Someone did a report. It's on Vice News, so take this with like a mountain of salt. But someone did a report and it said the UN's weirdest crimes include smuggling 380 pounds of weed, smuggling child porn, and also attempting to smuggle a chainsaw on a plane. Of all the things the UN could do.
Oh my God.
It said, and then there was also somebody trying to basically pilfer $2,200 from a passenger when they were screening their luggage. Which I guess, I mean I never thought about the UN as being this sacred, do no wrong organization. So I don't know if I should be surprised or deeply disturbed that they're doing all of this. But I mean, what do you expect with a multinational organization, right? Like, they're gonna do some shit. It's just like they all reported it at once. It's like, oh, well, man, look at all this. Oh my goodness. So that's Reddit news for you, by the way. It's just a bunch of random shit.
Speaking of random, you know how Luke was not in the trailer for,
Oh, he was. He's Kylo Ren, remember?
Yeah. Well, see, I still think he's the one who touches R2, but someone took the time to put Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, in almost every single scene of the Star Wars trailer.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I have a link in the Google chats, but I'm just laughing hysterically. I have it on mute, so I can't even hear it, but it's just all sorts of Luke's face everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm thinking of this movie with oh fuck, what's his name? Jesus Christ, my memory's just out right now. I think I have I think I'm out. So I think I have really, really early onset dementia at this point. But I saw this vampire movie by it's one of the guys from Flight of the Conchords. Jesus Christ, Jermaine Clement. And he was a vampire, and they were talking about him, and they're like, he likes to imitate cats, but he doesn't get the faces right. And it showed him later in the movie as a cat, but it had his face on it instead of the cat. And I was picturing that level of shitty CGI.
Yes. No,
just crappy copy and paste.
That's exactly what this trailer is.
That's amazing.
You're gonna be very happy.
I'm already very happy. I haven't even seen it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
I haven't even heard it. I'm just watching all of the Lukes.
Just watching the faces. Can someone put my face in the Star Wars trailer? That would I could just die happy after that. Speaking of Luke, I think it's interesting that we've talked about Star Wars and their new what I'm coining the cinematic universe, kind of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Star Wars Cinematic Universe. It's interesting in the comic series that takes place between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. It's interesting that of all of the characters you could possibly focus on, I think 8 out of the 10 issues have been Luke-centric. And it's interesting because it almost feels like they're making up for Luke not being in the trailers so far. It's like, no, really, here's basically an unannounced Luke Skywalker standalone series. Because he's trying to, for whatever reason, he's trying to get to Coruscant to see to get to the Jedi Temple, and he basically winds up on Nar Shaddaa, and there's a Hutt who collects Jedi memorabilia. And he's got a necklace of lightsabers, and the first thing he does is knock Luke out cold and throw him into a gladiatorial arena. And Chewbacca is on his way to rescue Luke. So it's been fantastic so far. And basically, but it does a really great job of explaining how Luke learns how to use a lightsaber between episode 4 and 5, because there's this gladiatorial guy, and he's got a lightsaber. And and he's training Luke how to fight, basically, so Luke can entertain the gladiatorial guys before he gets killed. And the dude keeps telling Luke to come at him, and then he'll punch him in the face and be like, "You already did. Let's do it again." But it's a fantastic series so far. It links the holocrons and a bunch of the Clone Wars type stuff together. There's Naboo fighters, and one of the issues. Oh, that's Shattered Empire. Never mind. There's Naboo fighters. There's Shattered Empire is great because there's Naboo fighters. There is Leia feeling Darth Maul's presence in one of the hangars in Naboo because she's there on a diplomatic mission after Return of the Jedi. It's fantastic. And then of course Chewbacca has his own standalone series that just started, and it's fantastic. I sent this to you guys last week, but it's got the Star Wars crawl, but it's Chewbacca's point of view versus how it actually happened. Did you guys see that a couple of days ago?
Yes. Oh, definitely.
It's Chewbacca. Oh, this is not the right one. It's Chewbacca. Chewbacca gets his own standalone series. Everyone is getting a standalone series. I swear to God. Lando has his own series. Leia has his own series. Vader has his own series. Vader is getting his own crossover book. His own crossover series called Vader Down, where I guess he's crashed on a planet somewhere. I don't know. Oh, wrong review. Okay, I was looking for it on IO9, but it was apparently on Kotaku of all things. Okay, the Star Wars Wookiee crawl says it is a period of renewed hope for the Republic. The evil Galactic Empire's greatest weapon, the Death Star, has been destroyed by Chewbacca, the warrior son of the planet Kashyyyk. ... With some help from his trusty sidekick Han and his friends Luke and Leia. But Chewie is not one to grandstand. There is still much to accomplish. It is fantastic. And from there, it just gets better. It's kind of like seeing a comic book about Groot, because Chewbacca is not really a character that you can understand. Han understands him, of course, but no one else does. And it's gonna be fantastic to see that. I don't think it's the most serious of comics, of course, because a lot of the panels in it are this kid talking to Chewbacca, and he's like, "What's your name?" And Chewbacca responds, and he's like, "I don't know how to say that." And it's fantastic. I love it. It's Marvel. Getting their shit together for once. I love seeing. That's one of my biggest beefs with the EU is, love it or hate it. There were some visible seams on the expanded universe in terms of continuity, not really meshing up between the books, and it's really great to see Marvel and Disney giving Star Wars a really good cohesive universe to the extent and above their extent that they did with the Marvel comics, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Excuse me. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I don't know. The trollers can go. Oh, they know where they can go. There will be no pooping on the Star Wars.
I'm so excited. I might wear my Leia costume.
Yeah, but don't wear a mask. Apparently there's a big tizzy about that, because there is apparently some movie theaters have said that you can't wear masks for obvious security reasons, due to recent events. But I don't really think that's going to be a big thing. Most people most people I remember seeing wear costumes when I went to the prequel premieres wore like Jedi robes. So, each his own. I'm going to say that, and then there's going to be nothing but Mandalorians when I go there. I'm okay with that too, but I just can't picture sitting for an extended length of time wearing a suit of armor.
Yeah, really.
Just sounds painful.
Speaking of Star Wars,
yes.
What is it? Neil Patrick Harris released his Halloween photo. He usually takes like an epic photo with his husband and his 2 kids, right?
Yes.
And he was he's a Jedi, and then Han Solo, and his daughter is Leia, and his son is Luke, and it's so cute.
I'm okay with that.
It is freaking adorable. I'm
very okay with that. I like it. Neil Patrick Harris, that dude, like, I just love that guy. I have loved him since Dr. Horrible, and he just, I love him.
just thought I'd throw that out there. I'm traversing,
Perusing.
perusing things for talking points.
Reddit. I got two respondents to the game Twitch on Reddit, and one is an indie game developer, and the other is a stand-up comedian. So let's see how that happens. What these guys don't know is I'm going to try to get all of them on a single Twitch. So that should be fantastic chaos.
Wow. Even CNN noticed that Luke Skywalker was missing.
Even CNN.
Even CNN noticed.
Well, I mean, they probably got tired. I mean, you know, since what was it? Ted Cruz said that it's an evil conspiracy on the debates. They got to talk about something. They got to talk about something else. It's like, we're not bad guys. We like Star Wars. You know, it is conspicuous. Have you heard J.J. Abrams' response to this whole thing?
No.
Oh, it's great because J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams came out and talked about Luke Skywalker not being in the trailer, and someone asked him in an interview what's going to happen, what's going to happen, where is he going to be, and he basically said, that's a great question. Let me see. Oh, here it is. These are good questions to be asking, and I can't wait for you to find out the answer. It's no accident.
I knew it wasn't an accident. Oh.
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons I love J.J. Abrams. I've loved him. I've loved his secrecy with everything. I remember when Cloverfield came out, he created like this whole like alternate reality game where you had to investigate the story behind it and the theories behind like where the monster came from and like what the hell it's doing. And he's not a guy to reveal more than he wants to. He's not. It wouldn't surprise me if he did the Nolan thing and like only had a few copies of the script like locked up in a vault and wouldn't let anybody leave until he got them all back. Like it wouldn't surprise me if he was that level of controlling over the information that gets out. And you kind of notice that during production, very early on there's some leaked photos, and then that never happened again. And they went to great lengths to remove, probably call copyright on everybody leaking photos of Luke in his Jedi robes. He's very secretive, and everything he does is very intentional, and I think it's fantastic. And that gets me more excited because I knew he wasn't going to come out and mention it because he's not that guy, but now I really want to freaking find out what the hell's up with Luke.
I'm so excited. Excited.
I think she's excited, Marcus.
It's good for the excitement and the build up for the movie, I mean,
it is.
And you want your fans to be ready for it, and then bam, all of a sudden, you're watching it on the theater and it hits you right there, and you're like, oh crap,
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, oh, that's what Luke's doing, or that's why he was hidden,
yeah, exactly.
That's why he's evil.
Yeah. If he's gonna be evil, you don't know that yet.
Spoiler alert: Luke is Kylo Ren.
Well, oh my God! Stop it! Well, even Lucas wanted to have an evil Luke Skywalker at the end of Return of the Jedi. Have you guys heard about that?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, the original ending of it was supposed to be way the hell dark. It was supposed to be Luke putting on Vader's helmet and basically saying, I'm Vader now. And they repeated that scene ad infinitum with the old Republic comic book series with Mandalore, especially put on the mask and say, I'm the new Mandalore. But the idea of it was like at the end of this journey, Luke becomes Vader and wipes out the rebellion instead of Vader. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that Luke could do it, but what would be interesting is explaining what could turn Luke to the dark side 30 years after he first kind of got tempted by it in Return of the Jedi. Of course, that claw hand does look a little evil. That looks a little evil.
Yeah.
Okay, can I talk about one thing that kind of has me bothered about the trailer? And every time I watch it, it bothers me more and more.
What?
That scene where they're in front of, like, the temple thing.
Oh, with Han Solo, yeah.
Yeah. Did that not seem out of place?
I love that scene. Sidebar: I love that scene because if you pause it, Han Solo is walking to the front door all casually, and if you look at Finn and BB-8, they're both leaned over looking at this robot like, "What the hell is that thing?" And it's great. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's out of place in terms of like the narrative, and I don't think it's out of place in terms of the trailer because it's a clue, but no one knows what the hell the clue is.
I don't know. I just, I didn't. Maybe that's the
Because
thing.
everything in there everything in there is conveying so much information, but none of it is giving anything away about the purpose. Again, that's why I love J.J. Abrams. There is no accident with the information he likes to convey.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. I don't know.
I've got a theory about the opening thing where you see Rey repelling into the Star Destroyer.
Yes.
If IO9's theory about theory or information about the First Order going outside the galaxy to find the dark side source, blah blah blah, is true, what if the Star Destroyer they scuttled had Luke's lightsaber on it, and Rey is the one to actually find it? Makes you wonder. Because that would explain how Finn has it, because he's partnered with her through most of the movie. What I think is interesting with at the end of it when it shows Kylo Ren and Finn facing off, is if you notice the way they hold their lightsabers it looks like Finn is trained but Kylo Ren is not, which I think is really interesting. Because the way Ren holds his lightsaber looks like it would make for shitty defense. But Rey's holding it like an actual sword fighter, so makes you wonder. And he's also the only one with the saber. Maybe he's that much of a fanboy. They waited 12 hours to get this. Ultimate fanboy tour. I don't know. It's just December 18th cannot get here soon enough. I'll put it that way.
Every time I see Kylo Ren now, I hear "Notice Me, Senpai."
Yes.
And it makes me so happy.
Kylo Ren is just, I don't know. Kylo Ren may be, according to J.J. Abrams, Kylo Ren may be the central villain of Episode 7, but he doesn't strike me as the most competent villain of Episode 7.
Exactly.
He's menacing, and he's got the Sith mask and whatever, but he could be riding on the name recognition that he's a dark side user instead of actually being able to use it.
Yeah, and see that, and I was just having this conversation with some of my students. I mean, it really seemed. I'm actually more concerned with that Captain Phasma character.
Phasma, every scene you see her in, she walks with purpose.
Yes.
Like she owns. She has no doubts about what she is in any of the scenes you've seen her in so far.
And to me, I mean, if you go into the Harry Potter fandom, everybody. Voldemort is obviously the bad guy.
Yeah.
But people will argue that he's not the most menacing of the bad guys in Harry Potter. I mean, you have Umbridge, who is arguably like the worst character in that entire series, and I kind of think that's going to be the same thing with this movie. I think Kylo Ren is obviously going to be the face of the bad side, but I think we're going to
as it were.
Yeah, as it were. But I would not be surprised if we actually end up hating Phasma more. I think she's gonna kill somebody, or I mean, we're not gonna
Well, from the trailer, it looks like she's in the process of killing multiple somebodies.
Well, I mean, I think if one of the core people die, I would not be surprised if she's the one that kills them.
Oh, I wouldn't either. Phasma looks like she's on the hunt for something. She may be, and a lot of people are saying that she might be this trilogy's, Boba Fett or whatever, and maybe that's true as far as personality-wise, but she is definitely, she seems, at least with how she's carrying herself, she seems to be very determined to wipe out whatever it is. Like, she's just she seems to be this just impending force of whatever's going on.
Yeah, I can't wait to see her. I'm so excited to see. She's probably the one character I'm most excited to see in action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I get the same vibe from her seeing these scenes. as I get from Vader and Rebels, where he's just casually ordering like a refugee camp to be burned to the ground. I get the I get the feeling that Phasma would order mass murder like it's a side dish at McDonald's. It doesn't feel like she'd have any qualms about that whatsoever. And then and that could be, and of course the theory is that whatever she's doing to that village is what causes Finn to be like, what the hell am I doing here? Because in the trailer, he's kind of talking about that. He does seem to have a crisis of faith. I had one thing, I don't have anything to fight for now. He might have been a true believer in what the Empire was doing, and then he participates in something that he doesn't agree with, and Phasma's behind it. I think Phasma and Hux are behind it. Maybe General Hux is the Tarkin of it. He's the one who orders the destruction, but Phasma's the one ultimately carrying it out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they go hand in hand. Hux is the snooty officer, of course, so he doesn't get his hands dirty.
Yeah, that sounds like a legitimate theory to that. I mean.
And what if, and twisting this knife further, what if the First Order and the Knights of Ren aren't associated with each other? How weird would that be?
Yeah.
You assume they are, but what if they're two competing groups?
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting because maybe the Knights of Ren at this point are kind of like the Night Sisters. They're doing their own thing, and nobody knows what the hell's going on. Mm-hmm. The First Order is still this very anti Force user. The Force is whack kind of group. Who knows?
Yeah, or maybe it could be a race between them to find Skywalker, and and they think that if they find him, then they're going to be the more dominant group. Yeah,
exactly. It's and again, this is one of those beautiful things about not revealing too much freaking information. It's it's the same thing with freaking Batman versus Superman. It's they reveal only so much, right? And so everybody's going crazy with theories, and some of them are stupid, by the way. But
Kylo Ren.
Oh my God! No. Have you heard the Batman versus Superman theories?
No.
Like, people think Ben Affleck. Okay, this is the most predominant one. People think Ben Affleck, even though he's obviously Bruce Wayne in the trailer. People think that Ben Affleck is playing Deathstroke, who wore a Batman costume for like half a issue one time in the 90s. They're like, oh my God, he might be Deathstroke, and maybe Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is still in here. Maybe. And then they go on to say that maybe the Robin in Suicide Squad is a fucked up Joseph Gordon-Levitt who was Robin at the end of Dark Knight Returns. Which, if that was true, why wouldn't they use the same actor, I guess, but whatever. But the best one is that they said that the definitive in big air quotes, that the definitive proof that Batman versus Superman is the next Christian Bale Batman is that the V in Batman, it's Batman v Superman instead of VS, so it's versus, which means that it's the fifth movie. Because you have the Nolan trilogy, and then you have Man of Steel, and then you have this one, which is the fifth one, and that's what the V stands for.
No, I don't think that's what
that's like. It's like Illuminati level conspiracy theory with Batman versus Superman at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. From what I understand, after this one, Ben Affleck's gonna make 3 more Batman standalone movies
at minimum, and then he's got the appearances in all the other ones like Suicide Squad and everything else, Justice League Dark, everything. But what is fandom without crazy fan theories, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably somebody somewhere who's trying to figure out how Mad Max ties into Fallout, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm okay with that. But I guess there's like a certain crazy threshold with every headcanon fan theory. I'm okay with believing Harry Dresden and Harry Potter are in the same universe. That's fine. That's a good headcanon. But saying that Kelly Sue DeConnick put it the best way. I mean, she was talking about continuity in comic writing. She said that people will get on to people who write comics because, like, Wolverine, and this is just butchering her thing. It's like she said that like Wolverine would order a ham sandwich, but someone would write in because Wolverine doesn't like ham sandwiches because Avengers issue 22 said so. And she made a good point that continuity is marketing, right? Her analogy was that continuity is the label on the Coke can. It shouldn't kill your enjoyment of what's inside, but it does for so many people who just overanalyze it to infinity. And just like I think the theory spinning is like the crazy locked in a closet extreme to that. It's like they overanalyze to the point where it's like a psychosis. Oh, and then they argue with you on Facebook. I'm like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
wrong.
I think there's nothing wrong with fans.
No, it's fantastic, and I think some of the best.
Yeah.
I think some of the best analyses of things have come from fan theories. I think it's great when J.K. Rowling will someone will mention a theory to her and she'll be like, yes, you're right. And other writers, I like when they engage in discussions of these fan theories, and I love when I love it because it lends credence to it. It's like, holy crap, you're right.
Yeah, good ideas probably come out of it.
And some stories are made better. Like Doctor Who would not be nearly as cool as it would be without the fan theories and engagements. And sometimes the BBC will even come back to some of those fan theories and make stories out of them. And I think that's fantastic. It enables the fans in a way that gets them to give a shit about your story, and that's great.
Yeah.
But there's two sides to it, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, the things we're saying about like Rey finding the lightsaber and the First Order. There's probably somebody saying the same thing about us, like, "Oh, that's crazy. That would never happen."
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? That's never going to happen. But that's great. It's a healthy debate, and you find out who your most passionate fans are by how willing they are to debate their theory, no matter how crazy it is. And I think that's fantastic. People should make fan theories about my story I haven't written yet. Fan rumors, go!
Or about the story that I can't even get down on a piece of paper. I've been working on a story for probably close to 5 years now, and I can't get it down.
I wish I could squeeze my brain like a sponge and just this book would pop out of it.
Yeah, me too. That sounds like me.
It's like, why haven't we invented a way for you to just think about something and it happens?
Exactly.
Because then I could make the most perfect stories. Oh, alas. By the way, have you guys heard the thing I think on Popular Mechanics about how much information your brain can store? It was like this is a total sidebar. It was like oh god, what was it? It was some absurd thing. It was like 55 billion terabytes of data your brain could store, and backing up one brain would take up half the world's combined computer storage space. It's like, holy shit.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I've always heard that, we don't, at this very moment, we don't even use, half of our brain?
Yeah, what is that? It's Lucy with Scarlett Johansson. That's the punchline on that, right? It's like when she uses 100% of her brain, she can like transport through time and all this kind of shit.
Well, just to quickly jump into that conversation, that is a horribly misquoted.
Yes.
I mean, scientifically, it's one of those things where we may only use 10% of our brain, but that's because the other 90% is making us live.
Yeah.
So, if I remember correctly, there's a reason. It's not like we're not living up to our potential. It's more our brain's doing other stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah, exactly. But still, that's how Luc Besson heard. He's like, oh, you only use 10%. Let's make a movie out of this.
Yeah, let's use the other 90% for that.
I love Luc Besson. I love Luc Besson because he makes the most random shit. This is the guy who does, everything from The Professional to Fifth Element to Lucy to, oh God, what else has Luc Besson done? He has had the most, Nicolas Cage of careers. Because Luc Besson, and it's always the most random stuff. It's never the same thing twice. Luc Besson's filmography has its own Wikipedia page. It's not just in his Wikipedia page. He has done everything from Nikita to Leon to The Fifth Element to Taxi to The Messenger of the Story of Joan of Arc to Wasabi to... He's done a shit ton of Taxis. He did the Taxi remake. Is that the one with... Oh, it is with Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon. He made that one. No, he produced it. Never mind. But still.
Yeah,
he directed Angela, Transporter 2. Just, oh my God, he has the most Nicolas Cage of things. It's just the most random things. Three Days to Kill. He produced that. Brick Mansion's produced it. Directed Lucy. Just so many random movies. He went from French thrillers to sci-fi to medieval stories to back to sci-fi. It's great. It's kind of like Ridley Scott's career. He did Blade Runner and then he did Kingdom of Heaven and Gladiator and all those movies, and now he's back to sci-fi again. Fantastic.
Oh yeah. And he's getting ready to do what?
For me, the second Prometheus or Aliens Paradise Lost. Now, I guess they decided to just force their hand and be like, no, you have to make it an actual prequel now.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. I mean, more Ridley Scott is great. Ridley Scott. I mean, you can people can hate on Prometheus all day, which I think is a popular thing to do. I never thought it was a bad movie, but I'm okay with having more. Alien, as long as it doesn't rehash Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection, more Alien is good Alien, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Tie it in with Alien vs. Predator. I mean, put Ash from Evil Dead in it. I don't care what you do. I mean, I love my Xena. I can always use more Xenomorph in my life.
Well, you should be excited about the next Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver. I'm
excited and scared about it at the same time because it's Neil Blomkamp directing.
Uh-huh.
And he can do good movies, but at the same time, I'm worried this may not be one of them. I don't know. I mean, I love District 9. I hated Elysium. I didn't hate Elysium, that's a strong word, but I did not enjoy it as much as I thought I would, and I don't know. As long as he stays away from a lot of the obvious social commentary, I guess I'll be fine. Or you can even put in the social commentary, just don't make it as heavy-handed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I never saw Elysium, but I did see District 9. I thought that was pretty good.
District 9 was good, and then Elysium, you start to kind of notice a pattern where he feels the need to put social commentary into it, and it felt very heavy-handed afterwards. And I understand that he's coming from Africa, and Africa, of course, needs to have social commentary, needs to have social discussion. But I don't know, something about Elysium especially feels so heavy-handed. I think because of the class divisions it had in it. I'm not sure.
I don't know about that. Well,
I don't know. It's been a decent 3 years since I've seen it too, so I may just be pulling this out of my ass. It's 9 o'clock, guys. We're tired. We don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Well, I would like to see a sequel to District 9.
He's been talking about it for a minute, that he's thinking about making a sequel to it. I think he was going to initially call it District 10. But yeah, I would love to see it, because it leaves you on a note where you want to see more of the story. You want to see, if the aliens got off. You want to see, if the guy got turned back into a human from a prawn. Because he did say he was going to come back with a cure. You don't see that. You kind of assume, you're led to believe it's going to happen, and then you're not given the closure that the story kind of needs. or the story desperately needs.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I want to see happen. You know.
yeah.
I mean,
Now
'cause the last thing you see is you see him just sitting there as the alien, just waiting for him to come back. You know.
yeah, and a good question about that would be: is there enough of a story to make into a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Which would be interesting because of course everyone wants to see, people want to see the end. People want to see, like we talked about, want to see him get the cure, find out the prawns got off the planet. But can you fill 90 minutes with it? And I think that might be the problem. Is maybe he's engineering the story and hasn't worked it out yet, which is okay. I'd rather him take time and work out a good sequel than have a shitty sequel. I mean, hell, it took 30 years for them to even debate a Blade Runner sequel. So
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine with waiting on my sequels as long as it's a damn good sequel.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No Chinese democracies or Duke Nukem Forevers, please.
Mm-hmm. And just like I'm hoping Blade Runner 2 will be just as good, if not better, than the first one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the true mark of a story is, if the sequel is better, you did something right.
Yeah.
Video games are really good about doing that all the time, but it seems like movies don't really have as much of a good track record with it.
Right.
That's good. There's a topic for you. We were talking about topics before we jumped on. There's a good sub video topic or sub conversation topic.
Sorry.
Yes. So I think that's all we have for today. Like I said, stay tuned for there's going to be a book and comic book related sister podcast, and then a Twitch stream that hopefully will happen soon if my Redditors come together and actually make it awesome. We'll hopefully launch, and if I get Fallout 4 in the mail on Wednesday, as Best Buy is telling me, hopefully we'll be streaming Fallout 4 next Saturday, hopefully. Pardon me. And yeah, so that'll
That'll be exciting. I'll try to keep an eye out for that.
Yes, it's we'll be streaming. We'll put it out there. We'll probably name it. Like I said, it's still entitled. I don't want to call it like Radio Free Geek Gamer or something like that, or Radio Free Gamer. Actually, that might be a good one. But we'll have it recognizable. We'll tweet it out, and hopefully we will see you guys there.
Sounds great.
All right. Everybody, have a good night. We'll catch you next Sunday.
All right.
Have a good night.
Good night.